Hey, when you're heading down the stretch here, is there a thing or two that you'd really like to see click to move forward?
Yeah. Well, I think before the VCU game, we probably played our two best games of the year back to back. Obviously, that was going to be a tough game. It's always going to be a tough, hard-fought game for both sides. But I think we've done some things well. So I just think continue to improve, continue to increase competitiveness. Hopefully, defensively, we can get better. Our offensive numbers are really, really good nationally and in the conference. Just continue to improve defensively, and the biggest part of that is a competitive nature to our defense, and hopefully we can see signs of growth there.
Has the message stayed the same, during this stretch after the VCU game, especially after having the two impressive victories you had prior to it?
Yeah, I think so. The message probably differs during the course of practice and practices in terms of technical things that we want to improve on or we're addressing. But overall, no. I think keep our composure, continue to work as hard as we can, and on one hand, understand that if we make mistakes because we're young. On the other hand, not be so patient about it and really attack each practice and each opportunity to get better.
How have you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Coach, last Wednesday you talked about Sal maybe getting some more minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think his minutes and role looks like tomorrow?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to try to stand by that because I think Sal's played well, practiced well. I think he played maybe 11 minutes the other night, and I think that number can get up into the teens. So hope he continues to play well and earn those minutes, but I think he brings some really positive things to our team, and I need to hold to it and make sure we get him in there.
What specifically on the defensive end are you looking from him?
Well, really, he's got a pretty good knack for the ball, so defensive rebounding. I think Sal one day could be a good defender. He's improving and working at it, but it's a big challenge, a big jump going from high school to college. However, defensive on the backboard, he's a pretty good defensive rebounder. Obviously, his size and his length help him with that, and hopefully he can give us a little bit of a lift in that department.
We know throughout the course of the year you've kind of altered your coaching style, especially on the defensive end, changed it to man a little bit. Where else have you, altered your coaching style with this being a young team?
Well, probably more so over the summer and in the fall, really. I think that just in terms of the demands we need to put on the guys and what our expectations are and how many times we need to go over things, that's probably the bigger change. I think when you have a more veteran team or going into next year, you're not that you're skipping anything, but you have things down and you're ready to go. I think with so many young guys playing, you're making sure that you go over things and then go back over it and go back over it until you have it. I think in terms of strategy, switching defenses has been something that's helped us a little bit. But I would say offensively, I think we're very similar, and we just need our guys to just continue to have confidence. Grow in confidence, obviously making a shot helps that, but just continue to have confidence and play aggressively. I think when we get on our heels, like most teams, that's when we might struggle a little bit. But again, our offensive numbers are really, really good, and we need to continue to be aggressive, attack the game, throw the ball inside of those guys, throw it back out, and share the ball like we usually do. And in that case, I think we'll be good there.
Hey, defensively, Chris, when you try to defend that high ball screen they do to Nick Honor all the time, what's the most important part of defending that?
Well, I'll tell you what, John. Number one, he can get as many as 3 or 4 screens on one possession, ball screens. And then the second thing is he keeps his dribble alive. So he doesn't make his decision until the last possible second. And so that puts pressure on the defender. The guy who's hedging that ball screen, he needs to stay with him as long as he possibly can, even though he's worried about the man rolling to the basket that he's responsible for. And then the guy who got screened needs to get over it and fight as much as he can, and he might have to do that 2, 3, and 4 times in a possession. So I would say that is his patience and his willingness to continue to dribble the ball, that puts you in the most, gives you the most trouble.
Is he the rookie of the year in your view at this time?
I don't even know, John. We haven't even played everybody yet, so I wouldn't know, but I'm sure he must be in the running. His numbers are outstanding.
Hey, how did you treat the bye week in terms of balancing rest both mentally and physically while also preparing for that stretch run starting with Fordham?
Well, we had some days off. The guys who play a lot had an extra day of treatment and stretching and things like that. And then really, when we came in to work out, we didn't worry about a scouting report or the next opponent or anything like that. So we really kind of tried to mentally really take a break and just work on, some shooting, getting a sweat, staying sharp with the ball, but not worrying so much about what a particular tendency is, or we needed to take a break from that. We had a really lively practice yesterday, so I think it worked out well.
In terms of scouting report, what can you give us kind of for tomorrow?
Well, one thing, Fordham's willing to play a bunch of different defenses. So they've played us zone defense for the majority of the game. They've really played an attacking, aggressive, all over the court man-to-man defense, a trapping defense. They've played triangle and two, things you really rarely see. So we need to make sure that we're prepared for each of those, but not overly concerned with any one of those. And then on offense, Honor is somebody who just gets so many ball screens. We need to make sure we can handle that as well as we can.
How much more comfortable are your guys playing more man?
I think much more comfortable. I feel like, number one, generally young teams aren't good on defense, and we're working hard at it, but the statistics would suggest we're not as good as we need to be. And so, but I think our guys are, in man-to-man, there's a certain amount of grit and determination that can show up, and maybe a little bit less thinking, a little bit less identifying. So I think our guys are pretty comfortable with it, and to be honest, I think they're working very hard at it.
Hey, what does a break entail for you or your teammates?
Just a little bit of time off. Trying to get our body right towards the end of the season. We've played a lot of minutes. Still got to finish out the season well. So the break was good for us, I think. That's what I'm saying.
If you move forward thinking about 2 or 3 things you'd really like to see the Spiders polish up during this stretch run toward the end, you have a couple things off the top of your head that jump out?
Just keep competing. Obviously, for us, it comes down to the seeding in the A-10 tournament. Obviously, we want to get a good seed. And so we're just going to keep competing for the last 7 games we have left, and just keep fighting. There's not one thing I can pinpoint, obviously. Defense has been an issue for us, so I can say defense, I can say shooting, things like that, but I think we just got to compete at the end of the day.
You mentioned, did you get maybe an opportunity to kind of get away from the gym, get away for a couple days and kind of recharge the batteries and stuff like that?
A couple of days,
Yeah.
but can't stay away from here too long.
What have you seen out of Fordham at all, film-wise?
I haven't watched too much film on them. Obviously, I think they're better than their record says in conference play. Obviously, they won a good amount of games out of conference. And then their defense, they always switch it up. So you never know what to expect. You can expect some zone. You can expect some man. They'll throw a lot of different things at us. So it'll be tough. We just have to adjust and fight from there.
Are you guys getting more comfortable in running more man defense?
I think so. I think for us, it's been really good to be able to switch defenses. Kind of just throws the offense off a little bit. But also, we've been working and getting better at it.